Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 24 of A Wild Podcast Has Appeared, the official comic book podcast of Comicbook.com. I am one of your hosts, Jim Viscardi, and as always, I am joined by Megan Peters and Christian Hoffer.
Hello.
Hello.
You're back.
I am.
Yes.
Oh, it's not gonna be loud enough.
Let's just give him a moment.
Can't play too much, otherwise we'll get sued.
Yeah.
That's really just for,
I was about to say.
that's just for the wrestling fans out there, because
There was a big wrestling wink that I had nothing to pay attention to.
nope. That's right. I'm back.
He's
I
back.
know you guys missed me. I know you do. Yeah, for all
Any
the
Geodude cosplays at New York Comic Con?
No, there were no Geodude cosplays.
I'm shocked.
Yeah,
Truly,
there's-
honestly.
All right. If you are new to
baffled.
this show, we cover everything Pokemon related. If you are a Pokemon superfan, this is the show for you because we cover the games. We cover the video games, trading card games, Pokemon stuff, Pokemon anime, and anything that is happening in the world of pop culture as it relates to our favorite little pocket monsters. We break up the show in 3 ways. First one is a news brief. We go through some news pretty quickly. Then we take a break. And we do a bit of a deep dive. And then we get the fan favorite segment of the week. The horrifying, usually, Pokemon fan. Bleh. That was bad. The Pokemon fact of the week is really what I was trying to say. Not, I don't know what was happening there. This is a good week. I'm actually pretty excited. I'm actually really excited because I listened to last week's episode. I listened to every episode. And Megan seemed pretty on point with wanting to pick one game over the other, Sword versus Shield.
Yes.
And I want to know if the recent developments, and we'll get to this later, from the game has changed her mind. But first, Pokemon Go.
Yes.
Some surprising developments there. This one, I think, is going to upset some folks, especially if. So it seems like, Chris, I'll let you dive into it a bit more, but it looks like we may be getting our first pay-to-play Pokemon.
So the latest update came out. People data mined it, and they discovered that there is a new event coming called a Colossal Discovery, and it's going to be one of those special research events, which are almost always tied to a mythical Pokemon. That's a good thing. The problem is that in order to unlock that event, you apparently need an event ticket. Shortly thereafter, on the app stores, players noticed that there is an event ticket that you can buy, or you will be able to buy, on the various app stores for, I think it was like $7.99. So chances are this is for the mythical Pokemon Regigigas, which is
I was writing it down, being like, I'm gonna butcher this one.
It's the triple G.
It is.
Yeah.
But so it's that mythical Pokemon that's kind of like the master of the legendary golems, and it will probably be a pay-to-catch Pokemon. Now, what we don't know is if this like event ticket will just like unlock like early access, kind of like how the Pokemon Go Fests have worked, because you pay money to go to the Pokemon Go Fests. You get access to whatever mythical Pokemon they're getting, and then everyone else gets it a few months later.
Yeah.
So it could be like that, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but this represents something that could be problematic going forward.
It could be a very slippery slope, potentially.
Yes.
Well, Hoffer just guaranteed that Jim will buy into it by comparing Regigigas to a golem. So,
Oh, yeah.
confirmed. Jim
Yeah.
Viscardi will be paying the money. He'll be able to give us a report on what's happening. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
Jim's going to pre-order the event ticket. Like,
He's going to be ready.
And then he's like, wait a second, there's no golems here. There's just this big white thing.
This will be really interesting, mainly because if they say nothing, like if they just say, "Yep, this is it. And this is how you get them now," and that is it, they probably will stand to make a lot of money from this. I mean, yes, we say yes, it's problematic. Yes, this could be very, very bad. But let's be real here. They're probably going to make a ton of money on this.
I mean, they've really turned like Pokemon Go into like a money-making operation. Like it seems like every month there's different sites that kind of like do estimated tracking, and it seems like every month it's like, this is the best month that Pokemon Go's had since 2016. And I have like no reason to doubt that. They do a pretty good job of releasing a constant churn of events. Those special event boxes are just money makers. I kind of think that this is almost like unnecessary. But then again, at the same time, Harry Potter ain't doing so hot.
Yep.
So Niantic might need to,
subsidize that.
Yeah, they gotta,
exactly.
they gotta pay their bills. They gotta get those lights on. I mean, I'm interested. If it's a exclusive, like you have to do this to get this creature, I think that is absolutely a red flag for the game moving forward, because that's never been the heart of the game. Yeah, you've had to pay to like move forward, but it's never like fundamentally blocked you from accessing parts of the game. It's only been like region specific sometimes. I do think though, I would not be surprised really at all if it was the early access though, because Pokemon Go Fest, I mean, as they've been happening, they have continued to get more and more social media traction. Whenever those are around, I feel like everyone who I follow is at them, and I'm like, I don't know what happened. Y'all got tickets. Good for you. Have fun traveling to where this festival is. So if they're able to make that kind of, Pokemon Go Fest feeling more accessible to everyone by having this like exclusive paid event, I think that would make sense, and I wouldn't be as upset by that. Plus, they're still going to make money hand over fist. But
I mean,
I
I imagine the answer to this is yes, but are we expecting this to be a powerhouse of a Pokemon?
It'll be like any other Pokemon, like mythical Pokemon. They all have the same basic stats, so this won't be like a Pokemon that like breaks the game. Like you're not going to be like, and it's a normal type Pokemon,
right?
So it's not like it's going to suddenly be like oh my god, I need this normal type Pokemon in order to like conquer the Pokemon Go metagame. It's just it's more of an annoyance than anything else. Like you have to pay $7.99 to like complete your Pokedex. Then again, if you're one of the people who that's the only Pokemon you need to complete the Pokedex,
Right.
You've probably spent a lot of money.
You're shelling it out.
yeah, this is you have like a dedicated monthly budget for Pokemon Go. So I don't know. I mean, if it's the early access, I'm way more amenable to it. But I feel like if this is like you have to get this ticket in this amount of time to get this certain Pokemon, and then it's gone, for who knows, 6 months or whatever. I feel like that. I mean, I don't know. I just have issues with that, especially given my trauma over Pokemon Masters. But I don't know. I'm interested to see how this works out. And like Jim said, if they're going to say anything about it, or if it's just going to happen, they're going to be like, here you go.
Well, I'll say this for Niantic. They have done a pretty good job of communicating stuff. And they do, like, I remember when I talked to like the Niantic people like a couple years ago, I went out to the Pokemon Go Fest in 2018, and like I had a chance to like sit down and talk with their people, and they're like, yeah, we know, we read all of your articles. It's like, oh no. But so they know what the reaction would be to this, and I think that they know they have a good thing going, and we're 3 years into this game. They get their fan base, and I think they understand what the breaking point would be. So that's like the one thing is like like we give Niantic a lot of crap, and justifiably so, but at the same time they have not pissed off their fan base to the point where people have left in troves. They've kept that fan base going for 3 years, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
Fair enough.
There you go. Spotlight on Niantic.
There we go. All right, let's move to Sword and Shield, where I guess last week you guys talked about the number of gyms in it, and now it's not quite what we thought.
LOL.
Well, so Game Informer, they got this big exclusive with Game Freak where they went over And, you know, they did a bunch of interviews with people. And so they started releasing all this information. And like, you know, they're like, oh, yeah, we've got all these big exclusives. And most of the exclusives was stuff that we kind of like already knew. Like, hey, HMs won't be in the game. Like, we already knew that. They're not bringing HMs back. And one of the things, but one of the kind of surprising things was they're like, no, we're going to have 18, this game will have 18 gyms. And, you know, there's 18 types. And so people were like, oh, that's freaking awesome. Yeah. They were wrong.
Oh.
There was a mistranslation in there or something like that. So, like, right after they posted it, and literally, like, the afternoon that Megan and I, you know, we record the podcast, that afternoon, like, Game Informer comes out, like, just FYI, apparently we, you know, don't know Japanese very well, guys. Go figure. So I think the real lesson that we can take away from this is that next time that one of these games comes out, Game Freak should send me and Megan out instead of Game Informer. Also, just on a side note, like, I don't know if you, like, saw the videos that they've been, like, posting out where they're talking to Junichi Masuda and the director of Pokemon Sword and Shield. But those guys, like, looked, like, totally uninterested. They did, like, one of those, like, videos where it's like, we're going to ask you, like, 100 hard-hitting questions. And it's all, like, Americanized Pokemon lore and stuff like that. And, like, those guys, they don't know what, like, 11-year-olds were saying on freaking school buses. They look so detached from that, and they're just like, yeah, no, like, we don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, also, the difference between 8 and 18 in Japanese is pretty intense. I mean, I've taken Japanese. Thank you. Please send me over to talk to Game Freak. Like Hachi versus Juichi Hachi, like, that's like a decently, like, how did you mess that up? And also, when they announced that they got it wrong, they literally did it in the middle of, like, a 2-hour podcast. And they were like, oh, by the way, we got it wrong. We're sorry.
Oh, jeez. Wait, so, but is there still a major and minor league, or is that, like, all...
We don't know.
We don't...
I don't...
We're not... I mean, they didn't necessarily retcon that information. It sounds like the minor league isn't, like, a gym system or something. It's like...
Yeah.
That's what it's kind of sounding like, is that this minor league is, like... maybe like contests or something like that. And then there's the traditional 8 gyms from what we understand. So it's the clarification was there's not 18. Okay. And then everyone's been kind of left to figure out the information from there.
Jeez, that's a pretty big...
Yeah, which really sucked because that was in the previous episode. I was so hyped. I was so excited for that game mechanic.
Like, one of the things that I wanted to mention, like, I could totally see a situation where it's like you have to do 2 minor leagues before you can go to a major league, and then do the same thing, like 2 minor leagues to before a major or whatever. But now, who cares? Because now we don't know what's...
yeah, I think that's a great way. And it's also an easier way to grind XP up for your Pokemon by doing the minor league rather than going and fighting 30 Caterpies or whatever.
Right, yeah. Like, I like the idea of having centralized trainers in a way that you can just do a bunch of battles to
so
grind that.
I love that
and
idea.
I thought it would have been a nice touch too, because, you know, this entire Pokemon League and Pokemon Sword and Shield is clearly based off of, like, you know, the soccer leagues that are over in in England, and so I thought that would have been a pretty neat touch to have, like, the Premier League and then the Championship League, which is the Champions League, or I honestly I can't remember. I've only been following the Premier League for the last few years because my team got promoted. So, you know, yeah, I thought that would have been, like, a cool little touch, like, to acknowledge the fact that there's, like, 15 freaking soccer leagues in England. And, like, you know, like, it ranges from, like, your local, like, bar team to, like, these, like, huge mammoth, like, sports enterprises that are, like, the size of the New York Yankees. So, but, you know, Game Informer just lied to us, and that's sad.
All right, well, one last thing on the Sword and Shield front before we'll have more in our deep dive section, but for our news hits, Dynamaxing is not quite what we thought it was.
Oh, yes. So one of the things, and once again, this is coming from Game Informer, so who knows? But they talked about, like, they asked, like, so how exactly does Dynamaxing work? Like, you know, is the Pokemon, like, growing? And then they said, actually, it's, like, more like a projection. And so, like, we kind of thought, like, okay, you're taking your Pokemon and you're converting it into like a massive size Pokemon, when in reality you're like Wizard of Ozing this, or like, you know, like so people are like comparing it to like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where it's like these are actually like the Pokemon stands, or like Attack on Titan, where the actual Pokemon is like actually like floating like somewhere in the Dynamax. So it'll be interesting. They haven't really talked a lot about how Dynamaxing, like the kind of like theory behind Dynamaxing.
Yeah.
So, you know, they don't really do deep dives in these games,
Well,
you know.
it'll be interesting though, because I mean, there are some Pokemon that change forms when they Dynamax. So is that a projection? Do they actually like evolve or change, or
Yeah.
is it
Somebody just made it up behind a computer. They're like, you know, it'd be great if this Pokemon evolved this way when I made it go big boy. And they just like projected on there. I just have questions about like, how are those projections attacking you? And then it becomes into this whole like Mysterio Spider-Man Far From Home idea.
to be fair, they have the technology in the world of Pokemon have figured out how to take a living and breathing pocket monster, digitize it so it lives inside of a small ball.
I know, because we're in a post-apocalyptic world.
To me, the Dynamaxing thing is not a bridge too far, but it is still a little weird.
It's not a bridge too far, but I still have questions about Pokeballs. I've had that question for 20 plus years.
No one has
We still
ever,
don't
like,
know.
My favorite was, you know, in Pokemon Gold and Shield, just on a total complete side note, when, like, the Pokeball thing, like, okay, I can accept, like, that you're converting your Pokemon into energy. Okay, that's, like, advanced technology. Sure, whatever. This is a world in which Pokemon shoot, like, deadly beams of death out of their mouths.
Yeah.
I can accept all of that. However, in Pokemon Gold and Silver, they're like, yes, before modern Pokeballs, we took these, like, coconuts, this literal fruit, and we would carve it into a Pokeball. And here, I have given you a handmade Pokeball for which you can store your Pokemon. And I was just like, what?
Oh yeah, that
What?
makes no sense at all.
Like, and that's why those Johto balls like didn't appear in like 6 games. Like, they only showed up again in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and there's probably a good reason why. Because once you like say no, people were using fruit to store Pokemon back in the ancient days. Your entire like concept of like, okay, this is just a world which is slightly more advanced than ours, just totally breaks down.
Yeah, I'm so concerned. But we know, as in all these episodes we've learned, don't poke Pokemon too hard.
That's right.
Don't think about it, or you will get horrified.
All right, moving on. Speaking of Pokemon and technology and all that jazz, you can get your own legit phone case from Bandai that looks like the original Pokedex. Now, there have been many knockoffs, many people who have tried to do this as like batteries and things like this. This is our first, I think, official product
Yes.
for that, right?
So if you live in Japan, you can pay, I think it was like $70
Good Lord.
to get yourself a Kanto Pokedex, which pops open, and it fits, I think it was like the iPhone 8. It does not fit the iPhone 11. And if you get the iPhone 7 or 6, it blocks like half the stuff. But we will finally have an official Pokedex if you're willing to pay $70 in Japan.
Or if you're in America and willing to pay the shipping and customs
Yes,
to get a $70 phone case from Japan that now costs you at least $150.
Or just go on Etsy. There's a million people.
Yeah, but then it's not officially licensed.
That's true.
That's the
you're
appeal.
not supporting the Pokemon
This is a
company,
premium
Jam.
I'm about to
Bandai
support the Pokemon
affair.
Company with the next thing. So I want to apologize for our audio listeners. This section will take pretty quick. But a couple weeks ago, we talked about the Halloween stuff.
Oh my God,
that they're doing, and so we're doing an unboxing.
This one.
The first thing we just pulled out is the Pikachu
this is
Mimikyu,
mine.
or Pikachu wearing a Mimikyu costume, which again is really just kind of upsetting.
And it's got a Gengar
But
bag.
it's got a little Gengar tote to carry its candy in. It's a adequate. It's it's a cute little size. It's
got a little.
I love that. It's
That's
got
adorable.
It has a tail hood.
It has a double tail.
Well, it's not a double
my
tail.
God.
Pikachu's tail goes up through like.
Oh,
costume.
that's so cute.
Which is pretty
Yep.
cool.
Nope. This one's the one that I'm
And
going to
then
keep a hold of.
they sent us the 3 starters.
Oh no. Oh, Hoffer. Hoffer breathe. Hoffer breathe. Maybe we'll send that with your T-shirt.
We'll send this with your T-shirt. They have the Bulbasaur, which is very very cute. The craziest thing is like these tags are literally the size of like.
Yeah, these tags
Yeah.
are obscene.
But this is pretty cool. The Charmander one is also very cool, doing his best Cubone.
Now that's just
which
upsetting.
is super freaking cute.
Then-
and then I want to see if I can pull that down further. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And then
We
Squirtle-
have Squirtle
Little
with a
witch Squirtle.
top hat and a little witch little bow tie. Oh, the back of his turtle shell has a little
Oh my God.
little scary face.
Yeah,
Oh my
It's
God.
called Pokemon Pumpkin Parade Squirtle.
yeah. These are all available at the Pokemon Center shop.
Yes, very much so.
It's really these are pretty cool.
These are adorable. They're also very soft.
Yep.
Just gonna go ahead and plug that.
Yeah, these are.
No,
Really,
you can send that Bulbasaur to me.
We're gonna have to
with
just
my
hold this
t-shirt.
Pikachu now. It fits perfectly in my lap.
best thing though is they also have
Yeah.
some T-shirts for sale, and this is for all my fellow Gengar stands out there.
Gengar Squad.
This Gengar shirt.
Gengar Gang.
That's
Are you part of the
that's
Gengar
actually
Gang?
really
And it's got a
cool.
Gengar.
It's got like a black outline of Gengar. It's kind of hard to see.
Yep.
It's
But
in the
this
top
is-
corner.
This is really freaking cool.
So yeah, it's just like a solid cotton T-shirt.
I am
Doesn't
wearing
feel
this
super
tomorrow.
thin.
And I just like the name of the shirt is Gengar Big Face.
Big face. Did this Mimikyu have a name? This is Pokemon Pumpkin Parade Pikachu. I'm just gonna hold. Just gonna hold Mimikyu. My Mimikyu Pikachu.
So thank you, Pokemon Company, for sending those. Those are actually very very cool.
And very very soft. And I love them all.
We're gonna give one of these away. But the thing is I stay tuned to the end of the show and we'll tell you how. It's going to involve a code word. You need to stay to the end.
Except for Bulbasaur, because Hoffer's gonna.
Except for Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur we have to give to Hoffer. I mean, come on. But all right, and then before we go, the other thing on the Pokemon gear front is those custom shirts are now available.
Yes, they
for
are.
ordering.
Yes.
They're amazing.
And they come in a Hawaiian shirt pattern. So like I
Yes.
was kind of worried. I was like, there is no way. Like I really want like 5 of these shirts. But there's no way that I could like justify wearing them. Like my day job, for those of you who don't know, I work for a bank. I wear dress shirts every day.
Some of them
and
are pretty
khakis.
subtle, though.
Some of them are subtle, but like, I'm not really in a place where I can just run around with a Pokemon shirt. So I was like, I'm never going to be able to wear, like, what am I going to wear? Like my Bulbasaur shirt to church or something like that. There's no good thing.
Some of them are incredibly gaudy. My idea was potentially next week is to like go through like a live ordering and designing of this, because I am super super close. But like the you're not gonna like this one, but the Graveler one is
Oh my God.
a great design that is not over the top. That I feel is acceptable in a church setting or a business setting. But there's also like the Alakazam one is just a bunch of like Alakazam faces that just you only really know if you're looking close
Yeah,
enough.
but no one wants the subtle ones. You want like the Magikarp, which is literally a bunch of freaking Magikarp, like massive Magikarp, or the Lickitung.
The Lickitung one is explicit.
It looks so gaudy and amazing. Like I want it so badly.
Well, I also like.
Luckily,
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, luckily, I had a conversation with Jim on Slack, on our work Slack last week, in which he authorized me to buy one of these shirts and have Comicbook.com reimburse it. It probably got deleted on the message.
Dang.
But,
I mean-
I definitely had that authorization, so I'll be wearing those.
I mean, that's
those
necessary
soon.
because those shirts are like at least $100.
$100,
base
yeah.
like base price. If you don't mess with any of the buttons, any size you get, any of the styles, there's long sleeve, short sleeve, slim cut, and then there's the Hawaiian cut. They are all $100 base before shipping, tax, or anything like that.
I know, that's why it's so hard. Like I was like immediately like, I'm gonna buy myself that Magikarp shirt. And then And I was like, I am not going to buy that match.
That's how I felt when I saw the Vaporeon print, because it's like this ridiculous 80s pattern. It looks like those weird laser backgrounds you would get in your like yearbook photos, but it's just with Vaporeon added to it and a couple fish, and like I want it so bad.
I was really disappointed by the Geodude print because it is a bit much, but I decided that I'm probably going to get the Graveler print with the Geodude, not Geodude, with Golem cuffs, because I tested it out and you can see them. It's a good mix.
Good.
I was really hoping the Gengar one would be better. It's a little, it's fine.
Yeah. There were some that I was like, also some of the really weird ones sold out.
Oh yeah, like Metapod is sold out.
Like Metapod is
It's because they didn't make any. So like, you buy one shirt and that's the extent of what
they made
got.
exactly enough fabric for one t-shirt.
They're like, no, we definitely have 151 fabric styles. Oh, but we only made like one swath for some of these.
And like they're good quality. When I was in Japan last, like they had those shirts at the Pokemon Center I went to, and like
they're tailored shirts.
They were legit. Like they were like, I felt like I could walk through fire with them on and I'd be fine. Like straight Inuyasha style.
So if you haven't yet, definitely go check out the patterns. A lot of them are very, very cool.
But don't get too attached unless you have a lot of money.
I mean, just look, all you got to do is just save that Pokemon Go budget for a month or two, and boom, there you are. You got it.
Or you could just not get Sword and Shield and hate yourself and be sad.
But you'll look good being sad. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to we got some a great update for Sword and Shield. We'll talk about that and more when we get back. Oh man. How adorable is Galarian Ponyta?
Oh, don't even talk about it. Don't even talk about it. It's
So
upsetting.
So this was the one that Megan, like, I know you were all about Sirfetch'd, and you were going to get Sword, but has this swayed, will you get Shield now for Galarian Ponyta?
Honestly, like, I'm towing the line so hard. I was the person growing up, or rather, I guess my mom was the person as I was growing up, who I would work and she would get both versions of the game. And then me and my older brother, we would fight over it. So it like, I mean, I didn't have to worry about anything then, but if we wanted to trade anything, I could. Now me and my boyfriend are in the same situation where it's like, which one of us is going to get what and who's going to get the other one. And for the longest time, I have been Sword and he has been Shield. And now I'm like, I'm honestly like a little upset because I love Sirfetch'd. Do not get me wrong. What a handsome bird. Lovely. But the Galarian Ponyta is so cute. It's called the Unique Horn Pokemon, which is the cleverest way in the world to say unicorn Pokemon. It's just so pretty. And it's psychic. The only issue I have is that it is a psychic type. Everyone assumed it was fairy, and I know fairy is kind of meh with the metagame, but I really wanted it to be like a super powerful fairy type Pokemon. I don't know why, but yeah, I mean, I will have this Pokemon immediely. Whether I get Shield, I have to stop a random person at the store who has Shield and force them to trade me a Ponyta, or have my boyfriend do it.
Just Megan standing outside the local GameStop at 12:01.
Yeah.
Like, give me your Galarian Ponyta.
Like, I'm legitimately, like, it's really upsetting. I now feel the pain that everyone who was going to get Shield felt when Sirfetch'd was announced.
Yep. So the way they revealed this, I thought, was kind of great. Because at first, so they did a 20...
No! Hang on.
Yeah.
It was kind of great for you, Jim.
Yeah.
You, who didn't have to watch multiple hours of this goddamn live stream. Oh, it was great, guys. I was in New York Comic Con. Meanwhile, I'm stuck spending my goddamn Friday night watching this freaking live stream. So don't you dare.
We have broken Hoffer. Wow.
So the Pokemon Company did a 24-hour live stream, which was mostly nothing. It was just, there were some, Morlul floating around at one point.
Pikachu showed up.
Pikachu showed up. There's a Swirlax, and then there was Impidimp walking around. That was like the really clever thing that they did, was there's like, oh, there's Impidimp, which, by the way, still hasn't been officially revealed by the Pokemon Company. And so he just like walks around. At like one point, he like looks into the camera, and then you see like the mane of Ponyta like dart by. So Impidimp was totally trolling the audience with this entire thing. Oh my god! I mean, it was super clever. It just needed to be like 2 hours long, not 24 hours long.
Yeah. I just reading tweets of both Hoffer and everyone else who was watching the stream just was like a slow descent into madness. They were every frame they'd be like, "Was that something? Oh my god, guys, was that something? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god."
What a way to build anticipation for, because like we said, like for every Pokemon that they have released so far for this game, it has immediately become, you know, beloved and meme-tastic and whatnot. And this is just another one that is like their records right now for this is just they're batting 1,000 because this is a great reveal, one that I don't think that nobody saw coming. Nobody.
No. Mm-mm.
And it sparkles. The mane sparkles.
It's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Like,
They are going to sell
my god,
so much Galarian Ponyta merchandise.
The moment Build-A-Bear comes out with a Galarian Ponyta, it is mine. Well, this weekend I went to GameStop and they had the 3 starters. They had little plushes from the Pokemon store. They had Sobble, Scorbunny, and Grookey. And I was like, whoa. And I bought them. And honestly, the cashier tried to steal Sobble from me. So he was like, I didn't know we have this. Are you sure you want it? And I was like, yes. So like as soon as this Ponyta is out, mine.
Oh man,
it's so pretty, and it has a new move, right? Like in the game.
Well, it has a new ability.
Okay, new
and
ability.
This is what's really great. Just on a side note, Christian gets to use his actual college degree for once. So it's he's got a what's it called, pattern or pastel veil.
Degree?
But my college degree, it's history. It's actually a combination of American history and medieval church history. And so, so it's the move is Pastel Veil, and basically it prevents your Pokemon from getting poisoned. So it's going to be meta relevant because basically it blocks any toxic attacks or any poison attacks from coming, and it works for both you and your ally. And when you throw Ponyta out there, it heals it. And the reason, now here's the really clever thing. The reason why is because during, like, you know, basically dating back to antiquity, the unicorn horn was thought to cure, be able to negate or cure poisons. And so a lot of ceremonial cups are actually crafted by what they believe were unicorn horns. Now, in reality, these were actually narwhal tusks. Right. But, and, you know, that's the thing, like, you know, what, narwhals?
Unicorns.
Oh, yeah, but they didn't know that. I was like, whoa, roll it back.
Number one narwhal denier right here.
You can join the Facebook group.
Like, I was about to just go off. But, you know, they used to find, like, narwhal tusks, you know, from time to time, like, in the ocean. And, like, these things were, like, super prized and rare because they thought they were unicorn horns. And so it's known as the alicorn. And so they would craft, you know, they would take that and turn it into, like, actual ceremonial goblets that would be used by kings and queens in medieval Europe, because, you know, you couldn't poison somebody when they had those cups, because the thought was that unicorn horns, you know, prevent poisons. And actually, fun side note, because I wrote,
Side note?
A second side note. The throne of Denmark is actually crafted entirely out of alicorn, which is, you know, it's made out of narwhal tusks. But, you know, up until, like, I think the 19th, I forget exactly when they figured out. It's like, oh, wait, not unicorns, narwhals. But at some point in time, they're like, oh, God, so many narwhals must have died to make this throne. But yeah, so there's your that's your fun history fact for the day. I totally pissed away a Poke Fact of the week. But that is why, you know, Ponyta has the pastel veil, which prevents poisoning.
That's pretty cool.
The more you know, and a rainbow flies over my head. We'll add that in post-production.
What'll be really interesting is, because obviously normal Rapidash has a horn as well. So what will this Rapidash look like?
I haven't even thought about the evolution.
And they teased it at the end of the live stream too. So, like how it ends is like the camera goes off. So at the very end of the live stream, because me and my son were watching this, two Ponyta
Kept
come
your son up
out
for
and
24 hours to watch the live stream?
no, he woke up at the end, and so did I. I wrote my speculation article where it's like, yeah, we're pretty sure this is a Ponyta. Then went to bed the next morning. The Ponyta got revealed, and like our traffic was going nuts because I had written the article like 10 hours prior. But at the very end, two Ponyta come out and they look at each other and they're all smiling, happy, and suddenly they start sparkling when they nuzzle each other, and then the camera goes off, and then you hear the Rapidash cry. So this Rapidash is probably going to be badass. I can't wait.
Oh my gosh, this Rapidash. Oh no,
It's
no.
like Twilight Sparkle, or
This is the My Little Pony I always wanted.
this if not for the fact that I didn't want to break up our naming convention too much, this episode was almost titled My Galarian Ponyta Friendship is Magic. I was like this close. I was like, no, I probably shouldn't go from my like boring ass titles to something actually clever, like without any explanation.
There's still time. I think we can do that.
I mean, you feel like after 24 episodes, you'd see a little growth in yourself.
So yeah.
Well, like I said, it was a great reveal. I thought, I mean, you're right. I didn't have to watch the 24-hour thing, but the idea of it. I mean, these are things that they can only really get away with like doing once, right? Or like once in a very long time. And so I thought it was just a very cool. They have been doing very cool, different things that we have not seen the Pokemon Company do to reveal Pokemon.
Yeah, I think that this is the first game in which, like, they clearly have a new marketing person, and but like I really feel like they're finally like catching on. I mean, we live in a world where like Wendy's is able to make a full tabletop RPG to give themselves just cheap advertising. Like everyone lost their crap over that.
Yep.
So you can't just get away with like, look, here are 3 new Pokemon. Yep. I mean, that's how they used to do it. They're like, here's a video, here are 3 Pokemon, watch them stand, here are their names, here are their abilities. The game comes out in 3 months. That's how they did it with Sun and Moon. That's how they did it with X and Y. They can't do that anymore. It's 2019. It's the era of clever marketing, and I'm glad that the Pokemon Company is doing it because it makes our podcast that much more entertaining to listen to.
Yes. Full circle.
All right, so now we know what mostly the exclusives are and whatnot. What version of the games are you getting? I'm getting Shield.
I'm probably going to go with Sword. As much as I love Galarian Ponyta, I am not a big fan of Zamazenta. I really like the idea of Zacian, which is just a dog carrying a big sword. I mean, it just cracks me up.
I mean, I've always based the Pokemon game that I played primarily based on the legendary Ruby, because I just freaking loved Groudon.
I love Groudon.
I mean, Crystal because Suicune, Silver because of Lugia. Like, that's how I've always done it, and I'm with Hoffer. Zacian is for sure my favorite legendary of the two. As much as I love Galarian Ponyta, I think I'm still going Sword on the major caveat that I can trade for that pony.
I am starting a Galarian Ponyta ranch, and none of y'all are invited.
Well, then we're gonna have Surfetched.
Surfetched will break into your Galarian Ponyta ranch, and then as we make off with it, we'll throw Geodudes at you. Wow. So there.
Wow.
And then you still won't get a Surfetched.
Rude.
You started it. We can negotiate.
All right, Christian, let's jump into the Pokemon fact of the week. What do you say?
Okay, so we've talked about Yamask, which is a Gen 5 Pokemon, probably the most disturbing Pokemon in the canon, and that's saying something. It has a evolved form, Cofragrius. And, it's got some very unusual tendencies. It's shaped like a coffin. Do you guys know what it does as a pastime?
I read this one, and this one's pretty great.
I didn't actually read it, but I'm just assuming it goes to like funeral parlors or morgues and steals bodies to put within it because it feels empty inside.
You're close.
I'm close.
So you're closer than you think.
I went real dark.
And no, it eats grave robbers. It freaking eats grave robbers. This Pokemon is a coffin. It's literally King Tut's coffin.
Yep.
So it's a sarcophagus. It's an Egyptian-style sarcophagus, and it just sits there. And when grave robbers come into its tomb, because remember, these were once people, it goes and eats them, and then turns them into mummies. And this isn't even like a figurative thing. Its ability is mummy. So like that's literally what its ability is. It has the ability mummy, which basically negates other Pokemon's abilities and turns their abilities into mummy. So yeah, so it literally eats grave robbers, turns them into mummies, and then spits them out to go and spread forth the curse of the mummy.
I mean, that's horrifying when you consider how mummies are made. I mean, if you're mummified alive, they pull your brain out through your nose. So
yes,
that's what this Pokemon does to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, this Pokemon is also stopping criminals. So
to be fair,
yeah.
Can you really hate it?
What if it's
much?
someone who just accidentally trips and falls into it? Like, what if it's
into a tomb?
It can happen. What if it's an archaeologist?
Yeah.
Like,
Have
what if
you
it
not
is just an archaeologist curious about the history of it, and then it gets its brains pulled through its nostrils because it was just trying to get information?
Or listen, maybe you joined the French Legion. You know, you're standing in what appears to be an ancient Egyptian ruin. You know, you get into a big fight, and suddenly, instead of the giant mummy head coming out of sand, Cofagrius comes and grabs you and turns you into a mummy, and that is how the Pokemon version of the mummy starts. Brendan Fraser lasts 5 minutes in the movie.
Well, now I'm upset, and now I'm horrified. And a little sick, to be honest with you.
Well, then I have done my job.
Well, yep, there's that. There's that, Puffer. Congrats, honestly.
I do love these.
The good job.
This week. And look, these are appropriate. We're in October. Fall has started.
Thank you. Thank you for noticing. Thank you for noticing that we are doing a ghost theme for the next 2 to 3 more weeks.
If you don't give me a Mimikyu fact in the month,
we did it last week.
True.
If
you don't give me another one.
It's like, what are you talking about, Megan? Jim wasn't here. He has an excuse. I did it.
I just need more. I'm already, even though I have Mimikyu with me, it's not enough.
That's not a real Mimikyu.
You know
that
what,
is
Puffer?
What? It's a Pikachu dressed as a Mimikyu. I wonder how Mimikyu feels about that.
Probably very upset.
Yeah, I was about to say,
as we discussed last week, it's very difficult to make this cosplay.
Pikachu just makes one up like it's nothing.
Pikachu stole this from a Mimikyu. That's the point. That's why it's upset.
All right. With that, if you want to find more episodes of the show, by all means, check in our backlog. We've got plenty. There's plenty of Pokemon facts for you to check out. Our new episodes appear every Thursday, wherever you can find podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, etc. And every so often we read podcast reviews on the air. If you leave us a 5-star review, we'll send a t-shirt out. The whole batch is going out actually today. I have the labels for them. So apologies for those who may have been waiting for them. And if you want to talk about Galarian Ponyta to any of us online, because we will be more than happy to talk to you about it, you can find me on Twitter at Jim Viscardi.
You can find me at Megan Peters CB.
And I am at Seahoffer CBus.
Excellent. We'll see you guys.
Wait. What's the code?
Oh,
word?
right.
Yeah.
So we're going to give away we are going to give away the Squirtle.
Good choice.
Yep. And so you just go on Twitter, tag all three of us on Twitter, and hashtag Squirtle Squad. And I'll enter you in for a chance to win that Squirtle. And we'll announce the winner live on air next week. How about that?
And when you send out these t-shirts today, Hoffer's going to get his shirt, right?
Yeah, maybe. Thank you guys for listening, and as always, we will catch you next time.